like accidentally show the wrong Chrome window. Okay. Choose the best cards, different vote and read provision costs. Click the check mark that is the best in that provision. Okay. Oh, there's a lot of check marks. So what are the options here? Royal Guards, Hunter, Invader, Marine. Well, it's definitely not this, and it's definitely not this. Given these options, I think it's very easily Karak Marine, but... I think, like, Bruxa is a contender, too. But yeah, Karak Marine's, like, the real reason to be Devotion NR. This card's great. Protects your engines, gives you a great AA target without putting bricks in your deck. Gives Viraxis more utility. Yeah, Night Wraith is pretty good as well. I don't understand how these are tied. That's crazy. I also don't know how this has any votes. Oh, people just like Nilfgaard, I guess. Do I need to look at these? It's just in Dragolarva, right? Yeah, I mean... Do I need to justify the pick here? These are good because they're warriors, and you get the... Well, this is good because it's a warrior, and you get like all the extra warrior synergy from Herald and having a bronze to pull your deck with Blood Eagle. Berserker has like a little bit of synergy with things like Protector, which is nice. And it's just plays for a pretty easy 8 points now. Hamadryad is... It's really good when you feel confident enough to play it greedy, but you're gonna lose so many games playing it greedy. Like, when you just go Hamadryad and throw a leader charge on it, the Hamadryad's, what, basically a 6 with Symbiosis, which is alright, but... And then once you start committing Shaping Nature onto it, now you're, like, losing games to Heat Waves. You don't really need to lose games to. Why is Hunter bad? You always think Locke is pretty strong? It's not. It's, like, sometimes a alright answer to things, but it doesn't trade particularly well with anything. No. Yeah, that... Wait, why is... Whatever, okay, sure. Fallen Knight, War of Clans, Karak Frigate, Greatsword. Again, this is a very easy Greatsword. Though, depending on how much... Okay, so I mean, Greatsword is good because of other cards as well. Like, a big reason why Greatsword is good is because of... Hjalmar. But the main reason Frigate's good is because of AA. I don't know why War of Clans is here. I don't really know why Fallen Knight is here. Though I guess 6 provisions is... not the most exciting thing. I think this is a very obvious Frigate. Really? Yeah, I mean, I guess standalone Greatsword, especially after the nerf, isn't quite as good. I think last season this is a very easy Greatsword, but this season, yeah, probably a very easy Frigate. %, War of Clans. RIP. Their criteria. Yeah, there's no, like, thing to go by. So, like, how much are we taking into account synergies? Like, how important is it that AA exists? Because, like, Frigate without AA is not a very good card. But neither is Greatsword without Hjalmar. Or, like, Greatsword without Blaze of Glory. 6 prov gold? This is also not very exciting. Just one of the 6 damage ones? I don't think it's Roderick. 6 damage is a nice breakpoint right now. But, like, Roderick is the only, like, really cheap tutor. Roderick's the most unique thing here. Where, like, Parasite and Decoction are sort of the same card. I don't know what this is doing here at all. Dunkasol, Striga, Gord. Ooh. Huh. So... Huh. Sol... Okay, it's not Striga. As good as Striga is, I don't think it's hanging with Sol Dunka Gord. Sol carries around very well. Dunka is... Dunka's carryover, but it's only one per turn. Sol plays into tall removal, which is really commonplace. While like the numbers on Sol get pretty crazy, the amount of times you actually get the number of points the card is displaying are pretty rare. Whereas Gord can just come down last play and sort of defines decks. I'm pretty sure it's between Sol and Gord, and it's really just what you... I'm gonna click the Gord. Oh, I clicked the check mark, not the Gord. Yeah. I can sort of get an argument for most of these. It's just hard to, like, line up carryover cards next to cards that are worth points and finishers. Like, these are all very different cards, right? Dunka's carryover, Sol is an engine for a round. It's a very good round 1 card. Harold Gord is your round 3 finisher. Striga's removal. Some of the most efficient 4 damage cards. The most efficient 4 damage card in the game. Squirtle, Goliath, Viso, Helga. Can I click Squirtle without thinking? And do I need to justify this? I don't need to justify this, right? Goliath's a 10 for 8, the procs Haunt. Visegota's a silly, silly card, but... I mean... it's silly... It's able to be silly because it just dies so often, right? Like, Visegota's nuts when it sticks, but people know Visegota exists and try to make sure they have answers to it. Helga's Helga. It's fine. It's no Squirtle. Yeah. Donamir, Invo, Ozrel, Diazire? Couldn't this just be like Defender, 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 Defender? It's definitely not Donamir. I don't think it's ever Diazire. It's like archetype defining, but I don't think it's like... It's not quite as generically good as like Invo, Ozrel, which are very easy. Just slot everywhere. But again, like, they're completely different cards. Invo being a catch-all answer. Like, this is sort of like an upgraded Heatwave. Where Ozrel is just like a big finisher thing. The importance of having, like, good... There's so many things that you just don't want to put on top of your deck, though. Like, when your opponent goes big on a Hamadryad, you don't want to Invocation that. Not in round 1, at least. Where you're pretty happy to burn your Heatwave if it wins uneven. That said, I'm pretty sure I'm clicking the Invo here. Even though Ozrel is in a much better faction. People aren't even playing Ozrel in the Monsters decks. Heatwave, Philippa, Anse, Stetlaf. Ooh. Huh. Ozrel's good if you're not worried about going tall. And, like, not concerned about consuming your Yigern. But when there's a ton of tall removal running around, you just don't want to be on that plan. There's only one option here. You want to go Heatwave? I don't know. Do you pick the one that's most ubiquitous just because it's in so many decks? Like, Anses is a much better card. But it's better because of things like Shield Wall and Viraxos. Detlef's a shit ton of points. Triggers Haunt. Detlef's an important card. Philippa's like a nutty syndicate card. I don't know. I think this is the... I don't think there's only one choice here. Gives a busted card in the meta. Yeah. That doesn't make it, like... That's not the criteria that I would use. I don't know. Like, is Heatwave ever the best card in your deck when you're putting Heatwave in your deck? Or is it just something that you want to have because it's a nice catch-all answer? Heatwave's an essential? Yeah. I agree with that, but I don't agree with that being the criteria for picking a 10 prov card to be the best. If you were to ask me which is the most important of these cards in the current metagame, then yeah, it's Heatwave, because every faction's playing it. It's in probably most decks. And just the number of games that are decided by Heatwave is large. It's not a catch-all answer. It's an answer you need to not get blasted by most decks in the game. Yeah. It's the card that lets you... It's just the one card you can play that answers all those things that all those decks do. It's not dead anywhere, and it's an important answer to have across the board. There's no other card that does that in all the matchups. On 6 without Shield Wall isn't great. No, but are we taking into account synergies? Are we taking into account, like, the context? Because, like, Death Laugh without Haunt isn't very great either. Yeah, Onsice was never bad. Onsice is still good without Shield Wall. It's not, like, as much of a consideration, though. I'm gonna click the Onsice and expect Heatwave to be bigger, but it just depends on your criteria, I think. Balabor, Ulrich, Brothen's Forest Protector. Well, people don't even really play Thalabor. Brothen's Forest Protector. It's just, it's Protector. It has to be Protector. Especially after the Brothen's nerf. Protector's nuts. Yeah, I mean, is only played in the Revenant's deck. Is only played in the Swarm deck. Is a Nilfgaard staple, I guess, but Forest Protector is just good removal and good points. It's also a synergy card, procs all your Symbiosis. Makes your Gourd bigger. Yeah. Harold, Viraxis, Blood Eagle, Oberon. Ooh. Well, it's not Oberon. Blood Eagle, Harold, Viraxis. I definitely put Harold well above Viraxis for... Viraxis got nerfed too, right? But Viraxis still has a 6-point body. Harold, but not in a vacuum. Yeah, I mean, they're all synergy cards. A big part of what makes Viraxis good is the duelers. Blood Eagle is one of the best tutors in the game. Harold is Harold. I think it's between Harold and Blood Eagle. But people are going to click Harold, so I'm going to click Harold. Just to agree with the majority, yeah. Haunt, Assault, and Nero Great Oak. So this is, again, like, there's the more ubiquitous card in Neuromancy. Or you pick the actual best card in the game in Amphibious Assault. I'm always clicking Amphibious Assault here. It's never Haunt. Okay. Passiflora, Siege, Ball, Feign Death. No, they nerfed AA last patch. I don't know, man. These are all like the same fucking card. Guess. Ball's in a worse faction. Siege, Passiflora. It's not Feign Death. I don't think it's definitely not Feign Death. Ball, Siege, Passiflora. Like, Siege doesn't always see play, but a lot of that has to do with NR just having other options. Masquerade Ball sees play, but it's because Nilfgaard doesn't have other options. Passiflora is played in the cash deck and not in the Swarm deck. They all suck. Like, Passiflora gets cut from time to time. Not as often as, like, Siege gets cut, but it's not unheard of. Ball costs 15. I'm just gonna... I feel like you can just roll a die, and it doesn't really matter. I'm just gonna click the Passiflora. Go on ball, that's fine. Surprised siege is this low, but I guess. Hey, ice. Ball, just because entire faction in a card. Yeah, it depends what criteria you want to use. It's everywhere in the faction. You don't really see ball get cut very often. How far into Hades are we? We've got the first ending. I don't really know how, where it goes from there. I have all the hidden aspects except the fists. Yeah, I don't know. That was cool. You're too feign death. I didn't even look. Siege only got twice as many votes as feign death. Poor Siege. I think they'll print an Elven Clan Caller. Is Elven Clan Caller Goblin Ringleader? Hold up. Oh wait, I don't know what this is. Oh. You search for another copy. Or is it just the Lord? Are you using this to say like a Lord of Atlantis? Yeah, cool.